Are you kidding me?
Mayor Mike, we're ready when you are.
To call the meeting to order. We'll have a moment of reflection, please. Thank you. Disclosure of pecuniary interest. Seeing none. Public meeting.
Mayor Mike, I think Judith had one.
Councillor Cox.
Sorry, I have one on me, and I've lost my Wi-Fi, so I don't have any agenda in front of me at the moment. I'm on the waiving of the water fees for the water truck for the Coldwater Fall Fair. I'm a Fall Fair member.
So that's F2.2, Councillor
Thank
Cox.
you. Thank you.
Thank you. Any others? Okay. Public meetings or hearings, various applications for cancellation, reduction, or refund of taxes under section 356, 357, 358 of the Municipal Act. Mr. Plunkett.
If I can, Mr. Mayor, unless there's any specific questions, these are all, there's quite a few this time around, but they are all normal tax write-offs.
Thank you. Any concerns, council? Okay, do I have a motion, Madam Clerk?
Certainly, Your Worship. So the motion reads that the applications for cancellation, reduction, or refund of taxes in the amount of $14,604.32 be approved.
Mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Stevens, second by Deputy Mayor Dunlop. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Consent agenda. Would anyone like anything pulled? Councillor Cox.
I'd like the corporate services, and once again, I don't have my. Sorry.
That's all right. It's the motion you're requesting, Councillor, is motion CSC 2002-105. It has to do with the water account.
Thank you very much. And I think you said that 2.4 was pulled already?
No one has pulled it at this point.
Is that Adam Chambers?
I
it is.
believe Councillor Taylor was going to
Yes.
ask.
Okay, thank you. Then I'll let him. Okay.
Councillor Taylor?
Yes, I have from the Corporate Services meeting, August 24th, motion 2022-101. I'd like to have an amendment to that. And in addition to that, I'd like to pull 2.4 to go to new business as well.
Thank you. Any others? Madam Clerk, I forgot to phone you. I'd like to pull F 2.2 Coldwater.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. You have a motion, Madam Clerk?
Certainly. So the motion reads that the agenda be adopted, including consent items, with the exception of items F 1.2, motion CSC 2022-101 and motion CSC 2022-105, items F 2.2 and F 2.4.
Thank you. Mover and the seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Cox, second by Councillor Stevens. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Adoption, which you've done. Reports from officials, planning and development, H1.1, planning report number P22-032, reauthorization of lot creation on private road 4500, 4540, and 4548 Bella Vista Trail. Ms. Woodrow. Oh, Ms. Mandeville. Good morning.
Good morning, Council. Thank you so much for having me this morning. I just wanted to briefly speak to this report here that Brad Oster and I authored on the law creation. Unfortunately, since the writing of this report, some additional information has come to light. As Council's aware, staff write these reports a good couple weeks before the meeting. So once the agenda was published, a few neighboring property owners have approached township staff, and I believe perhaps members of council as well, with concerns over the existing and proposed right-of-way access to these lots. This is a bit of an unusual situation for this report as outlined in the report. Our official plan does have this policy which authorizes council to endorse or not endorse applications to go to the Committee of Adjustment. So typically what happens is someone applies to the Committee of Adjustment and then those applications just go right onto the Committee of Adjustment. Council never sees them because council has delegated consent applications, which are severances, lot creation, as well as minor variances. Council's delegated that power away to the Committee of Adjustment. So this is a bit of an odd policy in our official plan. So in the past, it's been essentially a rubber stamp process that these things have come to council first. Staff have written a report, and then council has passed the endorsement, so to say, onto Committee of Adjustment for committee to hear those applications. In this situation, we have a couple questions now, staff. For the applicant and also for the township solicitor to get a better handle on this before we would like council to consider the application. So rather than the recommendation that's in the report, staff are now recommending that council defer this report, defer it for more information from the applicants regarding the access to these properties, the private road access to these properties, as well as additional information from the township solicitor for staff. So essentially, that's what we're asking you here today. Sorry that the report is not as up to date as it could potentially be, but deadlines for agendas occur for a reason. So it's a little bit of a different situation, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Ms. Mandeville. Councillor Taylor.
Thanks for the update, Katie, today and as well as on Friday. A couple of quick things. So this road, Wildflower, which people don't know what it is, but I'm concerned that it doesn't show up on any of our mapping. And what about emergency services? And so that's my first question.
So thank you, Mayor Mike, if I may, to Councillor Taylor's question. Absolutely. So that's a concern for us too. So just so all of council is aware, we have heard that portions of East Shore Road or what we have mapped as East Shore Road, it is known to those in the know as Wildflower Lane. So township staff is looking into that. That's one of these questions that has come up since the publishing of this agenda. So this does happen. Township staff have seen this on a few other occasions where, a private road comes to a fork in the road, and both directions we think are that same private name. So since 1994, when 911 was introduced, obviously we've had a bit of growing pains and we've sorted lots of these problems out. But every once in a while, something does pop up. So township staff's going to look into that for sure. It does seem that those on this Wildflower Lane at least know that they're addressed on East Shore Road. So I mean, for 911 purposes, that does give a little bit of relief there, but certainly that's something township staff's going to look into, and is kind of an offshoot of this report.
Thank you. Councillor Taylor.
And then the main question I got is that being Shoreline Residential 3, it's waterfront property on a private road. But in reality, it's not a private road because they don't have authorization to go over private property. So how can we even allow this to go any further, which I'm glad you stopped, because technically they don't have a private road because you can't get there. So I'd like to know your comment on that, Katie, so would we have to wait that they would confirm that all property owners are in agreement that they can drive over each individual private property before we would allow that? Because I don't think it wouldn't be ethical for us to say they're on a private road when in fact it's not a private road because you can't get to it.
Mandeville.
Thank you, Mayor. Through to Councillor Taylor's question. Typically the SR3 zone is so by definition, the SR3 zone is private road or water access. So as you are aware, Councillor Taylor, especially in your ward there's lots of properties, or a handful at least, that are water access, more commonly on the islands than the mainland. But essentially these lots could be created as water access only lots. And that is what has happened in the past, and why this type of situation was essentially more of a rubber stamp process, because they could be water access lots. And then as the municipality, we don't, of course, weigh into private roads and to private access situations. However, in this case, I have been to this property. A couple of these lots, if not all of them, are very steep cliff, basically, situations down to the water. So it's not clear to me how or if they could be water access. It's also, just a little bit of a different situation here than what we've seen in the past for water access or private road access. So that again is part of the hesitation here with this report now. Back in 2018, when these folks first came to us, they had a signed agreement with the East Shore Road Association, which township staff took to mean that they did have this permission to go over these properties. So again, since the writing of this report, some additional information has come to light. And because they maybe cannot be water access, or they haven't confirmed to us that they could be water access, that is part of the hesitation here now at this moment. And we just didn't have enough time, unfortunately, to connect with the applicant's planners to have any of that sorted out, as well as I believe we may need some legal assistance here from a staff point of view in order to move forward.
Councillor Taylor.
Yeah, just in agreement. Like, I know the property there, and you cannot get any building material up the shoreline there. It's like a cliff. So I thought it would be prudent on our side to make sure it's not only the East Shore Road Association, but it's the property owners that have to agree to it too. So wouldn't it be prudent that for the developer to get this agreement with these property owners and also the road association? I know it's out of our jurisdiction, but I don't know how we could allow this knowing there's a problem with the road, which they need the road to develop the property.
Mandeville.
Back through you, Mr. Mayor, to Councillor Taylor. Very, very good points. I think I'll withhold, though, any comments on that until we get some legal advice.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Dunlop.
Through the mayor to Katie, I may be putting the cart before the horse here, but what about our tree cutting bylaw on those lots?
Ms. Mandeville.
Through the mayor.
Sorry, you don't have one, but sorry.
Through the mayor to the deputy mayor. that was going to be my comment. I'm not aware of a township tree cutting bylaw. However, there certainly is the County of Simcoe's tree cutting bylaw, which applies to all properties that are over 1 hectare in size. So these current lots likely are over 1 hectare. I don't have the exact number right in front of me. It might have been in the report. So I do believe that that may be a factor here. When staff originally went out to the property back in, I believe, 2018, 2019, there was a little bit of tree cutting that had occurred, but in my unexpert opinion, nothing substantial. Certainly, I haven't been out to the property in a couple of years now. I have boated past, but of course, as we were commenting, it's difficult to see onto these properties from being in a boat. So certainly staff are expected to go out within the next couple of months here before the snow. So that would be something we would be looking at.
That'd be great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any further comments? So Katie, just one question. How does this creation of these 3 lots differ from our friends over on Marlene? And if it's the covenant part that I'm aware of, you don't need to answer. You can just say, yes, it's the covenant part. And we'll just leave it at that.
So actually, this would be a similar situation. So as with basically all new lot creation now, they would be subject to current provincial policy. And that, as we all know, that current provincial policy encourages a setback of 30 meters from the waterfront, which essentially becomes a no-touch zone or a vegetation protection zone, a VPZ. So not different really at all. That we had asked the applicants to provide some confirmation on how they would meet the growth plan and the natural heritage policies within it. So not only a setback from the water, but as well as any other environmental features on this property. And that would likely be enforced through a site plan agreement or a development agreement, just the same way as other waterfront development that comes to light these days.
Thank you, Katie. Any further comments? Madam Clerk, do we have a motion?
Thank you. So I believe at this point we're deferring it. I'm going to confirm with
Correct.
Mandeville.
That's what we're doing. Yes, we are.
Okay. So the motion then will be that planning report number P22-032 dated September 7th, 2022 with respect to lot creation on a private road being 4500, 4540, and 4548 Bella Vista Trail be deferred.
Thank you. Move on a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Stevens, second by Councillor McIntyre. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Moving on. Morning, Michelle. Administration H2.1 Administration Report number A22-026 Resalary Housekeeping Bylaw Amendment.
Good morning, Council. This is a standard housekeeping bylaw amendment. We're amending it today to add a position to the Severn Public Library in Coldwater. So it's just a straightforward amendment. It's Schedule C, I believe, to the bylaw. That will be on the agenda later on this morning.
Thank you. Any comments? Deputy Mayor Dunlop.
Through the mayor, I just want council to know that, yes, we did take on another permanent person, but we 2 of our part-time people left once the county made their decision over the libraries. They felt they were going to lose their jobs, so they left. So we hired another full-time one. So it kind of contradicts itself there. So it should work out all right. I just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you. Any further comments? Madam Clerk, do you have a motion?
I do. Thank you. So the motion reads that Administration Report number A22-026 dated September 7th, 2022 with respect to a salary housekeeping bylaw be received, and that the salary bylaw number 2021-83 be amended to reflect the housekeeping updates within this report, and further that staff be directed to prepare a bylaw for council's consideration.
Thank you. Move on a seconder, please. Moved by Deputy Mayor Dunlop, second by Councillor Stevens. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Moving on, H2.2, Chief Administrative Officer, Report number CAO 2022-03, Restrong Mayors Building Better Homes Act. Madam CAO.
Thank you, Your Worship. Council discussed this last meeting, and I asked you to defer it for a report just because I wanted it to be a bit more fulsome in your analysis. since the time of writing the report with my other hat on, which is a board member for the Ontario Municipal Administrators Act or Association, OMA got to participate in the committee that was debating the bill, and it was quite fascinating. We took a different stance, I think, about why it's bad than I think council is going to take. I think we share the same opinion, but for different reasons, which is totally fine. But the committee deliberation was quite interesting. So there were lots of groups there, like the OMA. AMO was there, AMCTO, sort of all the staff side. But that was one side. The other side was the building community was out in force as well, and they were very supportive of the bill. For some reason, they think that's somehow council is the impediment to getting things built. I don't know, but I've since heard that despite all of the opposition put forward, that it's going to pass without any changes to it. So I think this is still important to record your opposition to it if you are in fact opposed to it, which it sounded like last meeting you were. It may not make a difference, but maybe down the road, council was all at AMO with me, and you heard the Premier say Ottawa and Toronto are first, and then he's going to go to other big centers. Would stand to reason that down the line you wouldn't want to have different municipalities with different governance service. So maybe it'll be rolled out to municipalities our size down the road. Maybe it won't. He didn't really mention that, but I think it's important to have your say on it anyways, whether it's useful or not, or impactful or not, I guess.
Thank you, Madam CEO. Well written. Any comments, Deputy Mayor Dunlop?
So through the mayor to Laurie, thanks for that report. You can't make a difference if you don't put it out there, and thanks for that report. It was great, and let's just move forward with it. Thank you.
Councillor Cox. You're muted, Councillor Cox.
Okay, through the chair to the CAO. Laura, yes, excellent report. And I totally agree with your concerns of the staffing and how they will end up sort of being a dictator, which I look at it as, and I don't agree with it. So are we sending these concerns to who?
CAO.
I think we said the Premier of Ontario and the Minister of Municipal Affairs.
Okay, so could we also send it to the AMO executive? Because I think that unless the municipalities let AMO know, and we continue to let them know, I mean, if they pass this one for Ottawa and Toronto, at least if the other municipalities in Simcoe County, I hope they're sending it, but AMO should know that we're not in agreement, and they should be acting on our behalf, because that's the biggest party that we have. And if we let them know how we feel, then I think that would be important. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam CAO.
Sorry, I muted myself. Thank you. That's actually a great point. So at the committee deliberation, AMO was actually the most subdued of all the staff groups, because their board is both staff and municipal politicians, and apparently they didn't come to a consensus. So some mayors probably think this is good. So AMO really struggled with that, I think, because their board has to come to consensus. So I think that's a great idea to let them know what you think, because they do represent us.
Thank you very much.
Councillor Brennan.
Yes, through your Mayor Burkett to CAO Kennard. I just want to agree with Judith on this one. It's important to push them. AMO does have those challenges at times. You can see it reflected in their housing policies as well. Laura, you really captured the essence and the flaws in that document, and I want to compliment you. I thought it was amazingly written. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Dunlop.
Through the mayor to Laurie, would it not hurt to send that around the county townships so that the rest of them know that we're not in favor of it?
Madam CEO.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah, I just think if somebody else is holding back and they see that we're promoting it, and maybe more than would step up, and maybe they already have, but I would like to see it go around the county, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments? Madam Clerk?
Certainly. So the motion reads that be resolved that council received a letter dated August 10th, 2022 from the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing pertaining to Strong Mayor's Building Homes Act for information, and that Severn Council supports the need for action on the housing crisis, and more specifically the affordable housing crisis, but feels strongly that the Strong Mayor powers will not assist in building homes faster, but rather will undermine the democratic process and inappropriately blur the lines between professional municipal staff advice and political considerations. And further, that a letter be sent to the Premier of Ontario, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, AMO, and county municipalities, outlining these proposed powers are not appropriate for Toronto, Ottawa, or any other municipality under consideration and cannot be directly linked to building homes faster. And finally, that Bill 3 should not be passed into law until full public consultation with all Ontario municipalities be undertaken.
Is that council okay with that? Okay, thank you. A mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Cox, second by Deputy Mayor Dunlop. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. New business, we'll go back to 1.2, Councillor Cox.
Through the chair. I know that Councillor Brennan Taylor and Deputy Mayor Dunlop went to speak to Christy, or went to see Christy yesterday. And I'm not sure if there was any change of opinion or not, but if there was, I would love to hear it. And if not, I would like to bring forward that we know that the water consumption is there. So the water went into the house. The one thing we don't know is where the water went after. So in my opinion, or this is what I think, is that maybe we should charge for the water because we know it went in. And as far as the sewer rate goes, we don't know where it went. We don't know if it went into our pipes. We don't know where it went. And maybe it would be possible to waive the sewer fee.
Any further discussion? Okay, Madam Clerk, we have a motion that Deputy Mayor Dunlop.
So sorry, go ahead. Sorry, Deputy Mayor.
So through the mayor, never in 12 years that I've been here have we ever changed a water and sewer bill. We are setting a strong precedence here. And I know that Christy has talked to a number of her neighbors. And this is going to be out there, folks. And are we willing to forgive any water and sewer bills going forward?
Thank you, Councillor Cox.
Yes, through the chair. I recollect at a meeting, we talked about how we shouldn't always say a precedent. And sometimes we need to look at cases individually. And I think this is one of the cases where we look at it individually, because in every other case that I've seen over the past 20 some years, there has always been a found reason. We knew it was a cracked pipe. We knew it was a toilet that ran. The owner said, yes, this is the problem and this is what it is. In this case, I cannot find that, and I haven't been told that. So I believe that we should follow that information we heard before, that sometimes we just have to look at each case individually.
Deputy Mayor Dunlop.
So through the mayor, I questioned Christy on the sump pump that was possibly one of the Venturi ones that works on water. She told me they had a flood in their basement. There was over a foot of water in there when she spotted it. And if it was one of these Venturi sump pumps, it works underwater. So it would open up water to our municipality water and push the water through. So no, we don't know where the water went. She swore that they've never changed it. They've never had a professional in there to change it. I told her, I'm not a professional. I can change a sump pump, I can change a toilet, and I can prime a pump. You don't have to be professional to change these things. I asked her, was the pump ever changed? And she told me it wasn't. So I don't know what to do here. We put the cost on the backs of other water and sewer bill people. And yes, they're young, and yes, maybe they can't afford it, but you put that on the backs of an elderly person that has a fixed income that has to pick this bill up. Somebody has to pick this bill up.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor.
Yeah, just, I think we were copied on examples from the CAO of other water bills in the area and other areas, and they went uncontested and were paid. So it's unfortunate, but the water meter proved that it was working, and we should charge according to the water meter.
Councillor McIntyre.
You're muted, Councillor McIntyre.
You're muted. You're muted, Jim.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I think we're being very rigid here. I think we have to, I think Member Cox said that we should look at things one-on-one from time to time. I don't see where the water went either, and I'm still not convinced that the pumps were working in a proper fashion. Where's the water gone? I mean, and how could we possibly, could the Wilsons possibly have gone through that much water? I think we're too rigid on this one. I would agree with Member Cox to waive the sewer on this one particular item. I don't, what precedent? We're not setting a precedent. We're being human here. We're looking at the young couple who have battled with us on this and cooperated with us on this. And at the end of the day, I think we should just make a decision to be kind in this particular case. I don't know where the water went. I don't believe the pumps were in order. So as far as this goes, I would agree to waive the sewer fees. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Stevens. You're muted, Councillor Stevens. Hit the bar down at the bottom, the large bar, Ron. Thanks, Jim. Thanks, David.
Okay.
Just hold on. Thank you. Thank you. And I have it cleared up here. I agree definitely with Councillor McIntyre and Councillor Cox. All too often we have this happen, and sometimes it's out of sheer innocence and everything else, but we take the same position every time. Yeah, oh, well, let it go. They'll pay it somehow. But I think in this case, it's a very difficult thing for them to do, and I think we should be thinking about this as a solid council, not somebody thinking maybe next time.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Dunlop.
So through the mayor, I remember begging at a council meeting for an older woman that was, I think her bill was around 20,000. We know it dumped into her crawl space below, and we charged her. We charged her every penny. So are we going to change our bylaws to say if the water went through your meter and it went who knows where, that we're just going to charge you water, not sewer? We are setting a precedent. I don't care what anybody says here today. We're setting a precedent. And we've had lots of water and sewer bills, and we have gone through with the full cost.
Thank you. Any further comments? Councillor Cox.
Yeah, through the chair. We waive penalties for taxes. We waive all types of different things that end up costing on the other taxpayers. This will be $2,000 and some dollars. I'm sure that it's spread over everyone. It's really not a great big deal. Thank you.
Any further comments? Madam Clerk, what I'm hearing is to waive the sewer charges and just charge the water charges. Do you have a motion to that effect to see if it'll pass?
We have a bit of a process to go through here, Your Worship, because this is a committee motion that is coming forward. So first thing that would need to happen is that the original motion be defeated, and then a new motion can be put on the floor. So, and it's the same process that'll happen for Councillor Taylor's item that's coming up afterwards. Okay. So with that, I'll read the original motion and we'll go from there.
Thank you.
So the original motion reads that Public Works Report number W22-030 dated August 24th, 2022, with respect to 12 John Street water bill be received, and further that the disputed charges for water and wastewater utility not be revoked or adjusted, and further that interests incurred during the period of disputed charge for water and wastewater utility be waived, and further that the homeowner be advised to contact staff for payment arrangements.
Thank you. Mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Cox, second by Councillor Stevens.
Now, question?
Yes, Councillor Cox.
So we have to vote against this, so we bring up the next one, right?
If
Correct.
that's what happens, yes.
Yeah,
Correct.
okay.
Okay. All in favor?
Please leave your cards up for me too. Okay, so. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, Brian. That motion is lost. So based on discussions, then the next motion would read, give me 1 second here. Okay, so based on discussions, so it would be that Public Works Report number W22-030 dated August 24th, 2022 with respect to 12 John Street water bill be received, and further that the disputed charge for water utility not be revoked or adjusted, and further that the disputed charges for wastewater utility be revoked, and further that interests incurred during the period of disputed charges for the water utility be waived, and further that the homeowner be advised to contact staff for payment arrangements.
Thank you. Councillor Taylor.
Yeah, I'd like to ask for a recorded vote.
Okay. Deputy Mayor Dunlop.
And I would like to have that motion separated. I would like to see their interest taken off, but I would like to see the charge go through. So I would like that twofold, please.
Okay, give me 1 moment there. So that Deputy Mayor is the, sorry, the interest rate you'd like to see done separately?
Yeah, like I'm in favor of not charging them interest because it's
okay.
Been on our books. We've been back and forth here a lot, and that's not their problem that we can't make a decision.
Okay.
So I don't think I would like to see the interest taken off the bill.
Okay. So it's just, so I'll reread the motion on the floor then. So it'll be that Public Works Report number W22-030 dated August 24th, 2022. With respect to 12 John Street water bill be received, and further that the disputed charges for water utility not be revoked or adjusted, and further that the disputed charges for wastewater utility be revoked, and further that the homeowner be advised to contact staff for payment arrangements.
Mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Cox, second by Councillor Stevens.
Mayor Burkett, so we had a recorded vote requested by Councillor Taylor, tongue-tied this morning. So in no particular order, recorded vote was requested by Councillor Taylor. So for or against, Councillor Taylor?
No.
Against? Councillor Brennan?
Against.
Okay. Councillor Stevens, for or against? For Councillor McIntyre, for or against?
I'm a bit confused. Are we voting on the waiving of the sewer and the interest, or what are we doing here?
No, you're just dealing with the sewer right now. You're not dealing with the waiving of the sewer. Interest has been pulled for a separate motion.
Okay, well, I'm against.
Oh, I think it's confusing, Madam Clerk, if I may.
Yeah, I'm confused.
No, confused. We're waiving the sewer charge, but charging the water charge. That's what we're doing.
Correct.
Oh,
and the interest piece is a separate motion.
Separate motion. So we're charging for the water and we're not charging for the sewer.
Okay. So with that said, Councillor McIntyre, are you for or against?
I'm still a bit confused. I believe that we're going to waive the sewer fees. That's the more important question to me. The interest is a secondary thing.
Right.
Yeah, so that is
we're
part of
waiving
this
the sewer
motion.
fee,
Waiving
that-
of the sewer is for
Yes,
this.
I'm for waiving the sewer fees. Thank you.
Councillor Cox, for or against? Deputy Mayor Dunlop, for or against?
Against.
And Mayor Burkett, for or against?
For.
Okay, so that passed 4-3. And the next motion is that that the interests incurred for 12 John Streets during the period of disputed charges for water utility be waived, and further that the homeowner be advised to contact staff for payment arrangements. Actually,
Move in a seconder,
no,
please.
give me a second here to change that. Okay, so the motion then reads that the interest incurred for 12 John Street during the period of disputed charges for water utility be waived.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Dunlop, second by Councillor Cox. All in favor? It's carried. Thank you. Okay, so we'll move on to 2.2. So the request for a tanker at the Fall Fair. I would like to request or for council's consideration to waive the fee for that. Deputy Mayor Dunlop.
I'm also in favor of waiving the fee for that. It's a fall fair. It's always a good thing, and we always have a great turnout. So I would like to see that tanker waived.
Thank you. Any further comments? Madam Clerk, do you have a motion?
Certainly. So it's that the correspondence from the Coldwater Fall Fair regarding a request for the use of water truck and waiver fee be received, and that the council approves the use of water truck for the Coldwater Fall Fair and waives the applicable fee.
Mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Taylor, second by Councillor Stevens. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Councillor Taylor, 2.4.
Yeah, I think I pulled one at 1.2.
Oh, I'm sorry.
2022-101. It's concerning the speed limit on Quarry Road, and I'm asking for an amendment to the first paragraph to have the speed change from 80 to 60 from Fell Line to North River Drive. And the last paragraph would stand as well.
Any discussion? Deputy Mayor Dunlop.
I would agree with that. I know 4 residents that live on that road, and it's not even just cars, it's the trucks that come down there. A stone bounced out of one of the trucks and lit right up their laneway beside their vehicle. Everybody's going far too fast. It needs to be reduced.
Does Mr. Burke want to comment on this if he's here? Good morning, Mr. Burke.
Good morning. Thank you. Through the mayor, certainly staff have made their recommendation. We'll take direction from council and post the speed limit set here today.
Okay, thank you. Any further comments? Councillor McIntyre.
Through the mayor, perhaps Mr. Burke, or Mr. Taylor, how long a distance is it that we're going to take this 80 down to 60?
Councillor Taylor.
Just over a mile. It's from side road to side road.
So it's really nothing at all. Well, I'd be in favor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any further comments? Madam Clerk, do you have a motion?
Certainly. So we do have the original motion that will need to be defeated, and then the amended or the new motion that will come forward afterwards. Same process we just went through.
Okay, thank you.
So first motion is that Public Works Report number W22-026 dated August 24th, 2022 with respect to speed limit review, Quarry Road be received. And further that the posted speed limit on Quarry Road remain at 80 kilometers an hour, and that the posted speed limit be reviewed with the new council following further traffic calming measures.
Okay, mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Taylor, second by Deputy Mayor Dunlop. All in favor?
Okay. Thank you very much. Motion is defeated.
Motion, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. So the motion to read that Public Works Report number W22-026 dated August 24th, 2022 with respect to speed limit review, Quarry Road be received, and further that the posted speed limit on Quarry Road be reduced to 60 kilometers an hour from Fell Line to North River Drive, and further that traffic calming measures be used as well, and further that the required amending bylaw be brought forward to the next regular meeting.
Mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Taylor, second by Deputy Mayor Dunlop. All in favor? That's carried.
Thank you.
So we'll move on to 2.4. Councillor Taylor, did you want to speak to that?
Yes, please, and I think some others do as well. No, I just, there's a lot going on in the world, and this riding has been in existence since 1867, and it's the most northern riding in Simcoe County. It makes logical sense what the name is, and we have enough on our plates now to, with government, with everything else going on, keep the name, save them a bit of work, and keep Simcoe North's name alive.
Councillor Cox.
Yes, through the chair. I agree with Councillor Taylor, and I also think that it's a waste of money to change signs. You've got to change letterhead. You've got to do all these things. And the other one is they're taking part of Laurel Madani and putting it in with one of the fastest growing areas in the province. And next thing you know, they're going to have to change the boundaries on that because they'll have too many people on that one. I totally agree. We're Simcoe North. It says where we are. And that's where everybody knows it is.
Deputy Mayor Dunlop.
Through the mayor, I can't imagine calling us Penetangwisheen Couchiching. There's no definition of where we are whatsoever. All of a sudden, we're Penetangwisheen, and I think it's crazy. I want ours left as Simcoe North. Mark's right. We are on the northern part of Simcoe. Leave it alone.
Councillor McIntyre.
Through the mayor, I agree with everyone. What are we doing here? Changing a name, Penetangwisheen Couchiching. We're Simcoe North. Leave it at that.
Any further comments? Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. Do you have a motion?
I do. So the motion reads that the correspondence from Adam Chambers, MP, redistribution of federal electoral districts be received, and that the council for the Township of Severn requests that the name of the riding remain Simcoe North.
Mover and a seconder, Deputy Mayor Dunlop.
Sorry, just one more thing before we go on. I'm going to be sending Adam a personal note to say what the heck's going on, like leave our name alone. So I just wanted to put that in, that I would like every one of us to send a personal note to Adam. So sorry, go ahead with your motion.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
I believe I already read it, so I just need a mover and a seconder, Your Worship.
Moved by Councillor Cox, second by Deputy Mayor Dunlop. All in favor? That's carried. Moving on, I think we're on to the bylaws, are we not?
We are.
Oh, actually, we have announcements. Any announcements?
I believe that comes after, Your Worship.
Oh, does it? Oh, it does. Sorry. Okay. Clerk.
So the motion reads that bylaws number 2022-48 to 2022-52 inclusive be and are hereby read a first, second, third time and finally passed.
Mover and a seconder, please. Who would like to move them? Moved by Councillor Cox, second by Councillor Taylor. All in favor? That's carried. I'll move on to announcements. No announcements. Closed session, we have none. Confirmation bylaw, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. So the motion reads that bylaw number 2022-53 be and is hereby read a first, second, third time and finally passed.
Mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Deputy Dunlop, second by Councillor McIntyre. All in favor? That is carried. Adjournment, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. So the motion reads that this meeting be and is hereby now adjourned at 9:47 a.m.
Mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Cox, second by Councillor Stevens. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much.